All right, we are on air. It is Thursday, April 20th, 2023, and this is our fortnightly design and usability meeting. We don't have a lot of stuff on an agenda today, so we'll just sort of talk about issues that are pressing. I'll check the forum and make sure there's nothing there. I did see a message come in today on that.
I put a couple of them there, but none of them are need a lot of discussion, just drawing people's attention.
Okay, great. So let's do some introductions to get started. I can go first. I'm Jen Lampton. I am currently joining from Paso Robles, California. It is sunny and beautiful outside, and I'm trapped in my room because I have COVID. But I'm feeling good, so that's good. And I'm hoping to be back to normal soon. But that's it for me. Tim, how about you?
Sure, I don't have there was my Zoom screen. I'm Tim Erickson. I'm St. Paul Tim. I am in Deerwood, Minnesota, where it is snowing again today. Winter just doesn't end this year. I'm a little bit stressed because the next week is going to be busy. I'm going to the Twin Cities and then mid-camp next week. So mid-camp is next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. There's going to be Wilbur, Arena, myself, Justin, at least the four of us. I think there's probably more backdroppers that will be there. So we have a BOF scheduled and at least one top session on the agenda. Anyway, so looking forward to that. Greg.
Hi, I'm Greg. I'm usually joining from Melbourne, Australia. Now I'm located in Greece to spend some months with the family. Also very excited and very stressed about so many reasons. Like there's so much activity in the community, and with the D7 soft landing initiative and anything related to that, I had a sort of like productive week. I just started getting back to issues, so I'm excited about that. There's a career change, employer change, so I might, depending on how things go, I might go away for a week or two and then come back again, but I hope to just get some things done. Very excited about the issues that I work on in the queue. That's it. Pass it on to Luke.
All right. I am Luke McCormick in San Ramon, California, where it is like super beautiful today. It wasn't supposed to be this nice, but it's actually gorgeous. And I'm jealous of the Australians that had a total solar eclipse yesterday.
Which I was told not that impressive. It was a bit cloudy, at least in Melbourne. So
I is Melbourne on the east or west? Yes.
It's on the west. Sorry, the east and south.
Oh, then that wasn't. I don't think it was. It was at the northwest corner that they went totality. I saw a total solar eclipse in person a few years ago, and it's totally worth it. Like it's way more of a overwhelming experience than you expect. And so I'm gonna try to get maybe to Texas or something in 2024 when the next solar eclipse hits the US. But until then, there's other stuff to do. All right, and that's me.
Yes, there's the Drupal 7 eclipse, right?
That's a good metaphor, actually.
All right.
We should make a Drupal7eclipse.com website. This is great. I don't know what we'll do with it, but we'll figure something out. Okay.
Register the domain name now.
There's one issue that Tim put in the forum that is design related. It's issue number 5981. Which is an accessibility issue related to error message contrast in the basis theme. This looks great. It's super fast fix. I think all we need to do is remove the color that's in basis, and the color from core, which is apparently correctly contrasted, should just shine through.
No, there's a PR for it already. So
yeah, but the pull request adds duplicates the color. I don't think that's necessary. I haven't tested it, so I'll test it. before I mark anything about the pull request needing work. But yeah, I think either way, it's a super fast fix.
Right.
So we've got a pull
So I-
request this way already.
Yeah, I just stumbled across it and I thought this is an easy one that clearly nobody noticed. So let's just point it out and get it fixed.
Yep. Looks great. And then let's see. Oh, I also just wanted to mention so we did a security release on Wednesday. Thank you everybody who worked on that. Mostly thank you, Nate. Where I'm just like, I'm gonna be out of town. Good luck. And then it turns out I had plenty of time yesterday to help, which worked out okay. Yeah, we got the security release out, but in the security release, there were also a handful of great fixes. One of them related to design and usability is a change to the layout builder interface that displays the name, not just the name of the region into which you're placing things, but also the display style. So like if it's a row and it's fluid width or fixed width, it'll say that. And it'll also indicate the HTML tag that you're using for the row, which I think is a really good improvement to the interface. I did follow up since we're just talking about accessibility, just to see what that sounds like in Screen Reader, just to make sure that if we need to add some more descriptive terms about like, this is a div tag or this is the style or something like that, so people know what it's reading, we can do that. But I think it's already a huge improvement to what was there before. So great work on that. I love it when things get into core and I see them and I'm like, this is brilliant. I like no idea anyone was working on it. It just makes me feel really great about all the cool stuff our community's doing. And then I think that was the only stuff that we specifically had on the agenda. Oh, wait.
This one is design and accessibility, but it's backdrop.org. And again, it's really quick. But I thought we'd bring it up because this block, these two icons are links that are dead links. And they're actually being flagged by the Lighthouse accessibility report. And so I assume this could be fixed in just a few minutes. But I was curious because Janice, do you know, is this block like custom code? Because
yes,
I couldn't figure out how it was being generated.
Yeah.
So I assumed it was custom code.
It's a custom code in one of Borg's custom modules, but I think the correct fix for this, I mean, we can update the block for sure, but those were 2 pages that got moved from the main site to the documentation site.
Okay.
And we need to add redirects on the main site to the documentation site for those links. So we'll do both.
Okay.
That way, if there were any old links to these pages indexed, they'll get followed there too. So I think I added a comment to that issue, but yeah, both fixes are quick. I mean, updating the block, I could do that too. I've been working on the backedupcms.org sites this week, so that should be a quick change too.
Hey, Jen, can you answer an awkward possibly question? Why are those created with a custom module? Like what is it about
Because
them?
they existed on the site before we had any other cool tools on the site that could have done it. So they predated all of our like card stuff and our they were just there before all that. So that's where they got written. We have some bunch of legacy stuff like this. That's just like the website existed before all of the cool stuff Backdrop can do.
Yeah, if you look at our front page, there's also the list of features, which I started converting into a view so that each feature we can click on it and read more about it. But it's like it's stalled for years now because I'm drawn like the most to the core issues all the time. So
yeah. We thought it would be nice to have like a video or like a animated GIF or something about each core feature where we could go into a little more detail. We'd be like, look, you can do this with Backdrop because these features are great, but like the one line doesn't necessarily tell people what they are, especially if you don't know like what features modules within Drupal 7 or whatever we're using as a reference. And so we created a content type and we were going to make a view and we were going to build a whole bunch of like fancy carousels in it so that we could put a couple like highlighted features. And then every time there was going to be a new release, we were going to add like new features to the highlighted section. But we had a lot of ambition and it turns out a lot of things to do. And Greg and I were very excited about it, but we were also very excited about the core queue. So that seems to be where we're spending our time.
You just got me excited about it though. I don't know if we
Ooh,
got
well,
could
the
we
content
look
type
at
is
that?
there. All we need to do is put the content in and build the view. I think we're pretty close to, if you wanted to work on that, it's not far off.
Yeah, is there?
There's
is like
probably
an issue that describes that?
there
or
is
like
probably an old
yeah.
issue for that in the backedupcms.org queue.
yeah, and to make things easier for you, you could create unpublished content and then ask us to review it, and then when we're ready, we publish it, which makes things much more easier. So
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I would, if I were to try it, I, do it on beta first and, see how it all works. But like where, so just in the backdrop
I
office.
can share my screen. Just let me open up a window and share my screen so that I can show you really quick where you can find things if you need to work on those. Get screen. Let's hope that my computer doesn't blow up. So I hope I'm sharing the proper screen. Just let me get the Zoom thingy out of the way. So we have a add content. It should be feature something. There it is. I think it's this thing here. So you can create features, and basically you can give it a favicon class here, so it gets an icon. So you need to find an icon for it, feature name, a blurb, some categories there, and then description. And I think if you go here and filter by feature, these are already created. We just need the blurb. We need to unpublish those. Most likely, I'm not sure.
I think they're pageless, so it's probably fine.
Yeah,
I don't know.
all right. Cool.
I don't know.
And the feature look is this. So it's this section here. So basically, the icon would be this thing here, the title, the blurb, and then we need the extended version of it. So currently, this is a whole custom thing, like a node, I guess, or a block. No, it's a node, a single node. So we need to create for each one of these, create a single node, feature node, enrich it with screenshots or what have you. And then once we're ready, we just convert this node to a view. So you basically have the same thing, but with links where you can click and find out more. So that's it.
Okay.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
So the groundwork is done. It's just, it needs content.
Yeah.
Ideas.
So is there an issue for that, or should I create an issue for that, or should
I think there
sure.
is one.
I'll look right now. I'm in the backdrop.org issue queue. Let's just look for feature. Feature request. I'm not finding it right away, but I can't imagine that Greg and Jen would have worked on this without an issue.
We do love issues. It is also possible that we closed the issue when the changes, like the technical changes, got made to the website and didn't ever like return to it when the about the content. I don't know what it would have been called. It might have just been like update homepage to view. Like it might not have yet included the word feature. We might have figured that out in the implementation.
Right.
But this does bring us to a good point, right? Like we're talking about the homepage of backdropcms.org, and there's been a lot of talk about the homepage of backdropcms.org needing an update. And so this might be a good time to just mention this is the design and usability meeting. We want to do a light rebrand for all of the backdropcms.org websites. The homepage of backdropcms.org is a big part of that, and this might be something that we could highlight, especially if Luke's going to make us some great content. It might be something we could use in a new, updated, refreshed version of our homepage. So, sorry, go ahead.
One of my colleagues did a presentation recently in one of the local Melbourne Drupal meetups on SEO, and the presentation sort of like evolved to also cite metrics and health factors. And I run our site, our main page, through one of these tools, and it identified this image here as an asset that takes the longest to load. and there were some recommendations about it, like maybe we have the big version. No, sorry. Yeah, maybe we have the. That's what I needed to do. Yeah, maybe it can be a bit smaller, so it can load faster. So we have different derivative. You muted, Jen, sorry.
Yeah, I was just saying
not
on a
saying-
tablet, it does get bigger. So I think we should maybe just see if we can optimize the
Yes.
image, all the images at that size too.
Yeah, and there was this I'm gonna say the wrong term now, not exactly lazy loading. There was this feature that we can take advantage of that modern browsers support now. So this thing can load last with a placeholder here or something like that.
Yeah, that is lazy loading, and we definitely could do that. We have that option in
No,
our
no.
image.
I think that lazy loading is like it doesn't load until it gets into the viewport, like when you scroll. But this is already in the viewport, so there's a sort of like delayed, as in priority something. So we change the priority to come last, so everything loads on the page. So this would be the last asset to load. It would still be a blank spot here with an image placeholder, and then it will load as soon as the page loads. So, but yeah, it was related to that. It's not exactly lazy loading. Look,
Okay.
I mean, that picture is only 14K. I doubt that's the problem.
no,
It-
that was it was indicated as the longest. It came up with a report, like I've done it a couple of weeks ago. So it came up with a report that was green for one of the three things that it was checking, and then the other two things were saying were not red but orange. It could use an improvement, and that was one of them. So.
Huh.
But yeah, yeah, I'll stop sharing now.
Well, the SEO task force is underway, and we were poking around and auditing things, and that's how we discovered those. We were thinking about user accessibility as a factor in SEO, so I ran the Lighthouse accessibility report. And I didn't, there's other things on there that we could maybe look at, but the two quickest ones were those two icons that weren't linked. So I thought, let's just fix those and then we'll try it again.
I actually that picture's half a megabyte. The thing I looked at initially was misleading. No, that is a big picture. That should be much smaller.
My recollection is that we got a good desktop. I did the speed, just the performance test on backdrop.org yesterday. And I think we had a good score on desktop, but on mobile, we weren't so good. And maybe that's what Greg was just saying, sorry.
Yeah, and mind you, this was one of the tools that my colleague was mentioning in his presentation, and I just paused the video and ran it quickly. So there's other tools. It's not that that was the source of all truth, right? And I didn't bother checking the other tools that he mentioned. It's just a quick test of what the person was saying in the video. So yeah. All right. Unless anyone else has a design topic, I would like to bring up an issue. So it's time I think that I shared my screen again. Let me just share my screen again. I think it's this one. So it's issue 2873. It's quite an old issue. It was raised in 2017. And basically it's this thing here. I'll just make it a bit smaller so that, so that the screenshots fit there. So this is basically the installer. There were some outdated images, screenshots here that were showing there was an issue with the tasks sidebar here where the items were not aligned properly, but we fixed that in the meantime. So I've updated all the screenshots to show the current issue. And the current issue is that the table here of the items is too wide. And then there's a scroll bar that appears here and it seems broken. And I went through the entire thread, and the proposed solutions were to do text wrapping. So rows like this one wrap in two lines, and it becomes a little bit better. This is how it looks. The other proposal was to make the whole page wider. So it looks like that. Again, works there on the assumption that people are not viewing this in much narrower screens. And then the other solution was to basically merge the first column with the second column here. And this is what I worked on because it looked very decent. So there's a pull request, but I think that I have also provided steps on how to reproduce this, because you need to run the installer on your local. So yes, this is one way to cause that thing, right? Before you start the installation, you just intentionally change the PDO extension to just the opposite of what it says, so that you can trigger this screen. Otherwise, the installer would just jump directly to do its thing, right? And I think it was a pretty straightforward pull request as well, just very small changes, unless I'm mistaken, I think.
That particular interface, though, I think is like a design pattern. We have other places. I don't know if you found that when you were working on it. Was this like a installer theme function or something?
So I didn't. Yeah. It's a single function, and what I've done something smart, I think. So yes, I've added let me just make this a little bit bigger. What I've done is I've added a new parameter. So I'm passing on the phase, and if the phase is installed, we do things. It basically adds the class to the table. So if it's the install phase, it says phase does install or phase does runtime. So it handles the status page in that case. And I'm only sorry, yeah.
So here, my question is, are the changes you're making, wouldn't they also benefit like the status report? Like, do we need, I know the installer is different because it has like this sidebar on it, but I still think like at some point, the breakpoint on the status report might still benefit from this. And so it looks like this function, this particular theme function is used on the status report and the installer. Do you maybe other places too? I don't know. Anyway, it looks like whatever this improvement is, we should might consider using it everywhere. That was just what I was getting to.
Yeah. We can actually quickly check what happens if I do this. So yes, that's what we did there.
Oh, it already does it.
Beautiful.
Wait, then why doesn't the installer already do it?
I don't know.
Maybe
I did that. Let me just check that. Look. I've worked on so many issues this week. Sorry, excuse me. So no, just the install phase I'm touching. Have to take another look. But yes, it was doing it here, but it wasn't doing it there. So basically the same solution, right?
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll look at the pull request. Maybe it's simpler than I thought. But yeah, it does look great.
But I think that we lose the more or less things. They go away. Okay. Good prompt there. I know what to look for. Sorry. But yeah, any feedback just on the pull request? The issue is 2873.
2873.
Yes, and it's an easy win because as I said, it's. I thought it was much simpler. It's touching 4 files, but it's not. It's not that many changes, and basically, I think it's a cleaner way of just adding the class there will help other themes as well.
Yeah.
Right. Cool.
This looks great.
Stop sharing again. So I'm going through the design label queue. There's also an issue that I think Peter is working on. So 2370. Oh, that's the one that you commented on team just a couple of hours ago. The one that Laren said that he would advocate. So the one about the menus. $23.70. No, you're muted. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, I didn't I haven't really looked at the issue. I just commented on it and added it to the issue queue because Laren had wanted to advocate for it, so. Or I
No,
added it to the agenda for the dev meeting, but it could be talked about here.
Yeah, I was on top until last week, on top of the changes, and basically what we do is we expose a feature that is already provided, or I should say configuration that is already provided by Smart Menus. We are exposing that to the user interface. And that was a recent turn in that issue, as far as I know. So what was the previous solution?
I have a lot of experience in the last year making Smart Menus accessible. And it does require some significant markup changes in terms of like button elements to do the open closing instead of anchor tags and that sort of thing. But I mean, so this is like, you duplicate the parent links, that presents a problem. But yeah, I mean, this is like the classic, how do you want to, I don't know, it's like it's a problem every website has, and I would love to see more options, or even just a cleaner solution in Backdrop for it. So
Yeah,
Yes.
I see that
Great.
you had some back and forth with the developer of Smart Menus over the past month, or maybe a couple of months, with some related issues, but I can't recall exactly now. Was that one of those cases where we need something upstream to be fixed, or do you remember?
So it's definitely easier if you can have something upstream fixed, because then we don't have to mess with the library. But I'm running the Smart Menus module on my Drupal sites, and we were able to fix it in theme functions on our sites too. So if you can override it with theme functions on a site, then we can probably override it in the source of the module, or core in Backdrop's case. And I don't think there's a dedicated module for it. And just like override what Smart Menus is doing. And then I think we also needed like an additional JavaScript file that would just detect the correct elements, because Smart Menus was looking for one thing, and if you change the like element from a link to it or a span to a button, it's not going to find it. You can add some JavaScript that's like find it, and in the same way that Smart Menus does. And then if we get an upstream update, we can remove that patch to ours. So I think we should both pursue an upstream update, because that will make this better for everyone using Smart Menus, and then also fix Backdrop even if we don't get the upstream update.
Right. Cool. Let's see. I've sorted. So the list I have of issues is like 86 issues, and I've specifically filtered it by the existence of the design label. And the next one is 5085, which is system updates for merge the manual updates section. Just bear with me to see, because that's one of mine, I think. Again, let me see. Yeah, it's an old pull request. Just let me share my screen yet again. So, yep, that's the issue here. And I think it was, yes, we have separate manual updates and regular updates. So I guess we are merging thing, and for the manual updates, we just don't provide a checkbox or something like that. I do not recall. So the status says needs code review and testing, but I might need to, let me see, rebase this. So it was maybe last year. So I'll rebase it, but nevertheless, I'll need to just, there's feedback here. Yeah, maybe this is, it's been a year or two. So we need to revisit this. Maybe it needs fresh eyes. But yeah, I guess this is a screenshot from the resulting output. Right. And then if we go, because I have these sorted by the most recently commented. This is a meta issue. It's not itself. I think I've updated it. to add a recent issue that I think, yes, this is the one. Right. So this was reported by Laren. So it's the 7 theme versus the basis theme, and how the primary tabs are not responsive. So this was a feature that was added early on, and Wes worked on this. And it's not, it's only done for the 7 theme and not for basis. So, but there's no pull request here. No, not a duplicate. So this is specific for these tabs, right? And we have other issues where basis does not work ideally when used as an admin theme. And why people should care is because you know how you have the setting in the appearances in the appearance section where it says use the same theme as that. Yeah, some people just disable that and so that they have. Yeah, some content editors get confused when they click the edit button and they go to a different theme. So some sites use basis as the admin theme, and we need to make sure that it works well.
I think we just need to, especially for the content edit forms, I'm not sure we need to spend a lot of time on stuff like the admin overview listing, but definitely content edit forms should be a priority to make sure those look nice. But yeah, this is great because Wes actually built that responsive tabs behavior in 7, and Wes built basis. So it's really interesting that there isn't the same responsive tabs behavior in basis, but it also should be fairly easy to do on both.
Yeah. This is a good one.
Can I jump? Can I do one?
Yes, sure. No, sorry, I thought no one had the
screen open.
Yes, I'll stop sharing or.
No, keep going. Just go to 4029. This is Jen's one of Jen's issues. It's the user account compare visibility rule. This is listed as a UX issue. That's why I think I can bring it up now. I tested it. 4029. And I think if we can come to some agreement that the UX is about as good as we're going to get it, then this is very close to being done. I just caught one. I caught one very small issue at the bottom where the visibility role for the layout says display this block. Which
nice.
just doesn't make sense in the context of the layout.
It needs to say display if. Yep. Nice catch.
Otherwise, I might have marked it works for me. I know we were trying to make the UX better, but Jen, it seems like you've done the best you think we can.
I did a pretty big rework of it,
Right.
and there's definitely like some stuff that is just part of the way the layouts and blocks works that's really hard to change. So I tried my best. I like updated some of the strings, like not only in this change, but in like other interfaces so that it said like user account instead of user and stuff like that, that I thought might be helpful.
I think that
But
I
yeah,
had a quick look. My only nit here is that we have radio labels that start with lowercase and have a lot of
I can fix that.
Can you handle that, Jen?
Yes.
no dots at the end, and that's it.
Well, they're not sentences, but I can still start them with, oh, there are dots at the end. Oh, because okay, Greg, how do you feel? So it says like that's a whole sentence.
I know.
Like starting with D. How do we do
we've-
that?
I know this is the first, like where we have split the whole sentence between the label and the actual elements. So maybe we can make an exception or maybe a follow-up to fix it. I don't know. But I'm just pointing it out.
Yeah.
I don't want to block the issue because the fix or the gain is much bigger than my nitpicking here. So we can follow up. Don't worry.
Okay.
And as somebody who was trying to make the usability on this better at the beginning, I feel like we've worked on this long enough. And if we're not going to get it any better, let's not bite shed it anymore. Let's just do it.
Okay.
Okay,
Great.
so that's all on that one.
Great. Thank you. That's gonna make me really happy.
Right, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove this just to grab all the UX issues as well here. Let's see if there was any UX issue with recent activity. Oh, this is an old one, but it didn't have any recent activity. Yeah, I can't find anything else, and we're at the top of the hour, just to go to the developer meeting, so maybe we call it,
Good point.
yeah, maybe we call it a meeting.
All right.
Okay. I have a 2-hour drive that I'm stalling on. I should probably get going. Oh, we should end the meeting though first. Let's end the meeting before I got on the drive.
All right.
So,
We can.
Thanks,
I'm-
everyone.
I'm gonna stop the live stream. Thanks, everybody.